Yeah, friends, welcome to Sri Chaitanya. This is Uma Shankar. Yeah, in the series of applications of derivatives, so far we concentrated tangent and normal, which is in lesson 1. And now today in this in this lesson 2, we are concentrating on monotonicity. This is a very important topic in entire mathematics, especially in applications of derivatives. Monotonicity and lesson 3, which is nothing but maxima minima, these two topics play very good role in entire calculus, especially differential calculus. So here, as I said, first here through my videos I am just concentrating the theory part. Once after completion of the theory part, I will focus more on solving different varieties of problems. Okay. Now here in monotonicity, I am concentrating what is monotonic function, what is the definition, and what is monotonicity of a function at a point, etc. Things that we are concentrating very thoroughly. And here I need to clarify the doubts in general students are facing in this particular topic, and there are some areas in general student get confusion while solving the problems. Here with the help of this video, I want to clarify all those things. It's because it's such a topic, such an important topic. Okay, so listen my friend, monotonicity, monotonic function at a point. What does it mean, monotonic function at a point? See, this is the definition given. So what is that definition? Suppose if f is said to be monotonically increasing at x is equal to a if it satisfies these two conditions. What is that? F of a plus h greater than f of a, or f of a minus h less than f of a. What is h? It is a small positive h. See the graph? Suppose this is my curve. This is my f of x. This is my y equal to f of x. And this is my a, and this is my neighborhood of a minus h to a plus h. So this is a, and this is my h neighborhood. This is a minus h and a plus h. So what I am saying is, this is what this is f of a minus h, this length. This is what f of a, and this length is what f of a plus h. Whenever f of a minus h is less than f of a, this is f of a minus h, and this is f of a, and this is f of a plus h. Whenever f of a minus h is less than f of a, so automatically the curve would be like this. Okay, and whenever f of a less than f of a plus h, that means f of a plus h greater than f of a, then the nature of the function is like this only. Then I can say that the function is monotonically increasing at this point x is equal to a. So especially at x is equal to a, I can say that the function is monotonically increasing. See my friend, monotonically, now first I am concentrating on what? Monotonically increasing. This is the definition for monotonically increasing. So whenever they are asking the monotonically increasing at a point, you take a small neighborhood of that point, and left to a, you substitute the functional, you find the functional values of f, and right to a, you find the all functional values of f. If you are getting the relation f of a minus h less than f of a less than f of a plus h, simply you can say that your function is monotonically increasing. The same thing happens for monotonically decreasing. It is quite reverse. This is reverse. So what is that? F of a, this is f of a minus h, and this is f of a, and this is f of a plus h. This is a, and what is this a minus h and a plus h? Smallest neighborhood of a. So if f of a minus h greater than f of a, and which is greater than f of a plus h, then automatically the curve is always like this. Whenever the curve is like this, then simply I can say that it is what? Decreasing. It is monotonically decreasing. Clear? So my friends, so if a curve is either monotonically increasing or monotonically decreasing, either monotonically increasing monotonically increasing or decreasing, not both, then only we can say that the curve is monotonic. So whenever they are using the terminology monotonic, then immediately in your mind what to do? Definitely two cases will exist. What are those two cases? Number one, if the curve is monotonically increasing. Number two, the curve is monotonically decreasing. See, I am least bothered about the function whether it is continuous or discontinuous at that particular point. In that particular neighborhood of that function, particular point, whether your function is continuous or discontinuous. If it satisfies this inequality at left 2a all the points and right 2a all the points, definitely we can say that the function is increasing or decreasing as per the definition mentioned in the previous slide and this slide. Clear? So what is monotonic? Either increasing or decreasing, not both. If a function is not monotonic, then it is non-monotonic. If a function is not monotonic, then it is simply what? Non-monotonic. Non-monotonic means what? It is sometimes increasing, sometimes in the interval it may not maintain the steady phase. In the entire interval it need not be strictly either increasing or decreasing. So up to some extent it may increasing, and after that it may decreasing, after that it may increasing, like that. That is called what? Non-monotonic function. The terminology and the terms are very, very important. Because of that only students are getting confusion and they are unable to solve the new problems whenever occurs in the examinations. So this is one important aspect. Now coming to my friends, it should be noted that when we talk about monotonicity of a function at a point, see, this is the very, 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 very important. Whenever we are talking about the monotonicity of a function at a point, here the point should be a point in the domain of the function. That is important. So whenever I am talking about a monotonicity of a function at a point, the point should belongs to what? Domain of the function. But there is no necessity that at that point the function should be continuous or the function should be differentiable. Not necessary. But the point should be in the domain of the function. But already you know what is the continuity of the function and the differentiability of the function at a particular point. So this is the costliest point while discussing or finding whether your function is monotonic at a particular point or not. So here see what happens in this example. Here in this particular point, here your function is continuous. Up to here it is what? Coming like this and then going like this. So it is increasing. And it is in the domain of the function, so no problem. I can say this kind of function is increasing. And here what happens? Up to here it is decreasing, and again also it is decreasing. Again I can say that, and it is the point x is equal to a is in the domain, therefore it is a decreasing function. And here under these two examples, the point is in the domain of the function, and more at this point it is continuous. And moreover at these 2 points, suppose if it is the sharp edge, it may not be the differentiable. It may not be differentiable, like that. Now coming to here, suppose see, here this is one branch of the function and this is another branch of the function, and there is a gap at x is equal to a, and somewhere else here maybe x is equal to, at x is equal to a function is defined. So due to this gap the function is discontinuous. But I am least bothered about whether function is discontinuous or not. And at x is equal to a, it is somewhere here, it is f of a, the value is f of a, some point. But till that point in the neighborhood, the functional values are increasing, and even after a also the functional values are increasing. It is what? Increasing at x is equal to a. So what is beauty in this particular example? Where the point is in the domain, and at that point the function is not continuous and simultaneously it is not differentiable. And based on this information, in one of the JEE IIT examination, questions were asked. A question was asked in this particular concept. So in that aspect, this is very, very useful for you. Now coming to here, again, even at this point, here though the function is not differentiable at this particular point. Why? Because I can explain. This point are called point of inflection that you will learn in the next sessions. Okay, and at this point, but your function is what? Continuously increasing, and it is also what? A monotonic function. So finally what I am saying, Whenever we are talking about monotonicity of a function, monotonicity means either increasing or decreasing at a point. First condition is what? The function must, the point should belongs to domain of the function. And I am least bothered whether the function is continuous or differentiable at that particular point. Clear? Now coming to monotonicity of an interval. See my friends, see here, observe this graph. Here this is x-axis and this is y-axis and this is my function. This is x-axis and this is y-axis, and if my function is like this, and these are the, this is x1 comma x2 and this is f of x1 and this is f of x2, and the difference between these two values is x1 minus x2. But in if the points are lie and maintaining some valuable, some variable distance, then I can represent the points like this. If they are very close to another, close to one to another, then that smallest difference between these 2 points can I represent with delta x. So here what happens when I am approaching this point to here, when my delta x is what? Increasing. My delta x is what? Increasing. Simultaneously, my delta y is also increasing. Whenever delta x increasing, the corresponding values of delta y means if y equal to f of x, then whenever x increasing, that is delta x. So if there is a small increment in x, that is called delta x. So suppose if x is equal to 2, then 2.1, these are the smallest and nearest values to x. What is the gap between these x and 2 and 2.1? 0.1. That 0.1 is called delta x. So whenever delta x is positive, then delta y is positive. Similarly, whenever delta y is positive, then delta x is positive, or negative and negative. That is why implies and implied by. Thereby the limiting case what? Dy by dx is greater than 0 or dy by dx less than 0 in a specific interval. I can simply say that your function is increasing. So what I am going to tell with the help of this paragraph is, whenever differentiation of a function dy by dx greater than 0 in a particular interval where the function is defined, or dy by dx less than 0 in the given interval where the function is defined, when dy by dx greater than 0, simply I can say that the function is what? Increasing in that interval. If dy by dx is less than 0, then I can say that the function is decreasing in that interval. So whenever, this is the small test. So if a function is given for you, drawing always this kind of graphs, it is not at all possible to for you. So what is the litmus test? What is the best test? Whether your function is increasing or decreasing, or in simply I can say in one word, monotonic or not. This is the litmus test. What is this test? Find dy by dx. If it is greater than 0 in that particular interval, simply I can say that your function is increasing. If it is less than 0 in that particular interval, simply your function is what? Decreasing. If it is either increasing or decreasing, I can say that your function is monotonic. So whenever they are asking, test the monotonicity in the particular interval, that means either increasing or decreasing in that particular interval, what to do? Find a differentiation dy by dx in that particular interval and check whether it is greater than 0 or less than 0 in that interval. Thereby you can conclude that whether the function is increasing or decreasing. This is about what? Monotonicity in an interval. Now my friends, here dy by dx at some point may be equal to 0. Sometimes what happens, you know, while finding the differentiation, dy by dx at some point may be equal to 0. After that, dy by dx may be positive. See what happens. Consider this function f of x is equal to x cube. If f of x is equal to x cube, then what is dy by dx? This is 3x square. This is greater than or equal to 0. So the graph of this function is like this. So other than 0, if I am concentrating, if I am taking the neighborhood of 0, right to 0, your function is greater than, all the values are positive. See the graph I am drawing very clearly. This is the graph. Right to 0, this is, forget about all, consider all right to 0 points. That means all values of x are greater than 0 but nearer to 0. You find all values that are continuously increasing, and you take all values which are less than 0. Your function is dy by dx is less than 0. So what happens in this particular here what happening in either if x crosses or passing through all values from left to right through 0, dy by dx is always greater than 0, and at x is equal to 0, what happens? 0. For all values more than 0, it is always greater than 0. For all values which are less than 0, it is always less than 0, but at x is equal to 0, it is 0. Even then also, the beauty of this function is it is strictly increasing. It is strictly increasing. So this is the best example whether your function is strictly increasing or not. So at this point is at a point where differentiation becomes 0, and in all other points if the function dy by dx is greater than 0, then that point we can call it as a point of inflection. So this is one of the best example for what strictly increasing function, though the derivative of the function is equal to 0. That's why whenever they are asking whether the function is strictly increasing or not, what my suggestion is, what you take the smallest neighborhood of that particular point and you check all the functional values right to that point and left to that point, and observe the trend in the sign of the function. Then based on that, if they are greater than 0, simply you can say that your function is strictly increasing or decreasing. And moreover, here what you observe one important point. Here the graph is like this. This is graph of what? Y equal to x cube. Here this is 0. Here suppose this is some neighborhood, you can say. Here this graph is up to here like this, and here the graph is like this. This is what, whenever the curve is like this. That means whenever curve lies under the tangents, because here if you draw tangents at every point on the curve, always the curve is below the tangents. Whenever curve lies below the tangents, then we can say that the curve is concave up, concave down. See, here this is the curve. So what happens if you are drawing tangent at each and every point? What happens? Your curve lies below the tangents. Whenever curve is like this, this is called concave down. This is called concave down, like this. Or sometimes what happens, suppose if I have considered this as my curve. Here if I have drawn the tangents at each and every point on the curve, what happens? Always your curve lies above the tangents. Always your curve lies what? Above the tangent. In this case, I can say that the curve is concave up. Concave up. So for concave up, curve is like this. For concave down, curve is like this. So whenever at a particular point curve changes its shape, that means it changes concave up to concave down. So until here, until 0 for y equal to f of x is equal to x cube, the curve is concave up. Then after that, after 0, it is what? Concave down. So until what point the curve is going to change its shape, that particular point on the curve is called point of inflection. This is also another important definition for what? Point of inflection. Or I can say another way. In general, at a point on the curve, tangent never crosses the curve. If at a point on the curve, tangent crosses the curve, and if it is parallel to x-axis, or x-axis itself is the tangent, then the point is also called what? Point of inflection. Of course, you will learn more and get more knowledge in the point about the point of inflection in the coming slides. Don't worry. This is the time. So what I am going to say is here from this example, dy by dx at some point may be equal to 0, but f of x still be increasing. So already in the previous slide what I told, if dy by dx is greater than 0 it is increasing, dy by dx less than 0 it is decreasing. No, that is true. But sometimes though dy by dx equal to 0, then also we can say that it is increasing. Increasing means strictly increasing. Actually you need to mention strictly increasing, but increasing means strictly increasing. Please don't get confusion. Because they asked this question even in advanced examination also. This is increasing, decreasing, strictly increasing, like that options they have given. Majority of the people they write this as, they have selected this as answer as what? Increasing. No, strictly increasing. If they mentioned increasing and strictly increasing, you go for strictly increasing only. But if they mentioned increasing, non-decreasing, something like that, you go for increasing only. So that's why the terminology is very, very, very important for me. Clear, my friends? Now, coming to here, observe the graph. Suppose at this particular point, until this particular point, your curve is what? Below, left to this one, your curve is increasing. Even after right to 1 also again your curve is increasing. Suppose if that kind of things exists, then also we can say that, and moreover at x is equal to 1 your function is defined, then also your function is what? Increasing at x is equal to 1. So at a particular point, if you are more than that particular point, your curve is increasing, and less than to that particular point, your curve is increasing, and at that particular point, your curve is defined, then also we can say that the curve is what? Increasing. So this is an example. If f is increasing for x greater than 1, then f is also increasing for x less than 1. If it is increasing at this here, then it is also increasing at this. And f also increasing at x is equal to 1, provided f of 1 is defined. That is important. F of 1 is defined. Just like there in the previous example also, f of 0 is equal to 0, that is defined. That means the point should lie in the domain. Otherwise, how can I discuss about monotonicity? Similarly, with the help of this, if x greater than 1, here at x greater than 1 it is decreasing, and if x less than 1 again decreasing, and at x is equal to 1 it is defined, then we can say that f is decreasing at x is equal to 1. So whenever I am talking about increasing or decreasing at a particular point, even after that point or before that point, your function is increasing or decreasing, and moreover your function should be defined at that particular point. Then only we can say that either the function is increasing or decreasing at that particular point. With the help of these two diagrams, you get that idea. So this is also the best model, and whenever they are testing you, they are testing you to solve the problems, test the function is increasing or decreasing at this particular point. Then what to do? You take all values which are greater than that point and observe the sign change. That means dy by dx, if it is greater than 0. Or you take values of x less than, it is less than greater than 0, and moreover it is defined. Immediately you can say that your function is increasing at that particular point. Less than 0 happening, and defined at that particular point. Simply you can say your function is what? Decreasing at that particular point. So these, with the help of these two geometrical aspects, you can get confidence on how can we define the function is increasing or decreasing at a particular point. Now coming to my friends, here, however, if f is not defined, then monotonically will not be indicated at x is equal to 1. That already I told now. We are talking about monotonicity at a particular point means what? Your function should be defined at that particular point. Otherwise, it is not possible. Suppose if your function is not defined at a particular point, then what will happen? You can't say that it is monotonic function. You can't say that it is either strictly increasing or decreasing. Whenever it is not monotonic, I can say that it is non-monotonic function. What happens for non-monotonic function? With the help of this example, you will get the idea. Suppose, see, this is the example. F of x is equal to 1 by x minus 1. Suppose this f of x, suppose f of x is equal to 1 by x. This is better example, and it is easy way also to draw the diagram. And the graph of this function is like this. This is graph of f of x is equal to 1 by x. This is origin, and this is x-axis, and this is y-axis. Okay. So Similarly, x minus 1 means what? It is just like that only. Graph shape is like this. There is no difference between 1 by x minus 1 and 1 by x. Only thing is origin matters. Here for a 1 by x origin is 0, 1 by x minus 1 origin becomes 1. Here what happens? Your function is not defined at x is equal to 0. Okay, because your function is not defined at x is equal to 0. Your function is not defined at x is equal to 0. But for x greater than 0, if you have taken the values which are greater than 0, that means 0.1 or 0.01 or 0.001, your function is increasing. It goes on like this. Or if x minus 0.99 minus 0.999 something like that, again it is what? Goes on like this. So what happens? However, f is increasing and decreasing as shown, because here it is decreasing and here it is increasing at x is equal to 0. So what will happen here? It is monotonicity is not defined at x is equal to 0. Similarly, for at x is equal to 1, monotonicity is not defined for 1 by x minus 1. So, however, if f is increasing and decreasing as shown at x is equal to 1 and x is equal to, f will have extremum values being maximum at x is equal to 1 and minimum at x is equal to 2. So, my friends, what I am saying is, if you want, if we are discussing monotonicity at a particular point, your function should be defined at that particular point. Suppose if your function is not defined at that particular point, you have no right to talk about monotonicity. Your function is not monotonic, what will happen? Definitely at that particular point, sometimes the maximum value or sometimes the minimum value may occur. For example, see, suppose at x is equal to 1, right to 1 it is decreasing and left to 1 it is increasing. So that means right to 1 it is increasing, left to 1 it is decreasing. So the graph may be like this. Suppose this is the graph, right to 1, suppose this is 1, right to 1 it is increasing and left to 1 it is decreasing. That means the graph should be like this. So at this point what happens, it has a maximum. It has a maximum. And similarly, suppose after that it is again decreasing, and suppose at x is equal to 2, at x is equal to 2, left to 2 it is decreasing and right to 2 it is increasing. That means suppose this is 1 and this is 2, and what happens? It is decreasing at 2 and after that it is increasing. Then again what happens? Here at this particular point, your function is what? Minimum value at x is equal to 2, simply. So at a particular point, if it is increasing to decreasing and it is defined at x is equal to 1, and after that it is decreasing to increasing at x is equal to 1, simply I can say that your function has a maximum at x is equal to 1 and minimum at x is equal to 2. Whenever the function has a maximum at x is equal to 1 and minimum at x is equal to 2, then we can say that it has the extremum values. Extremum values, another word is maxima and minimum values. Values at that particular points are called the extremum values. Clear? Now coming to the important strictly increasing and increasing, the difference between these two. Try to understand. So here the valuable important point is the terminology. So whenever you take any 2 points x1 and x2 in the interval in the domain of the function, and for x1 greater than x2, if f of x1 greater than f of x2, that means you take x1 and this is x2, or this is x1 and x2 because x1 is greater than x2, and your function f of x1 is like this. This is f of x1 and this is f of x2. So if f of x1 is greater than f of x2, simply I can say that your function is what? Increasing. This is what? Strictly increasing. Otherwise, if x1 greater than x2, if f of x1 greater than or equal to f of x2, your function is what? Increasing. It is what? Increasing. Okay. So it is increasing. And if a function is monotonic at x is equal to a, it cannot have extremum point. That means points of maxima and minima at x is equal to a. So whenever a function, this is a very, very important note, my friends. Please try to remember this note. What is this? If a function has, or if a function is monotonic at a particular point, then at that particular point it never has maxima or minima. Okay, and that is, a point on the curve cannot be simultaneously be an extremum as well as the monotonic point. Suppose if a function has maxima or minima at a particular point, that maxima or minima at a particular point means that particular point need not be the point of extremum. And if it is a point of extremum, automatically at that particular point the function has maxima and minima, and function don't have maxima and minima does not exist, or maxima or minima does not exist at that particular point. Only one exists. Not simultaneously both will exist. Not simultaneously both will exist. So at a particular point on the curve, either the point must be extremum or maxima or minima of the function at that point. Clear? So all the maxima minima points are the extremum points, but all extremum points need not be the maxima and minima. That is the relation between extremum points and maxima minima points. So okay, now coming to, this is the example. See here, as I said, no, x1 less than x2, if f of x1 greater than f of x2, the curve should be like this, and it is what? Strictly increasing. Whereas for x1 and x2, x1 greater than or equal to x2, what happens here? For though f of x1, f of x2 has this kind of relation, but at some points between x1 and x2, all the functional values are equal. So the curve is like this. So this is what? Increasing function. This is what? Increasing function. And this is about strictly increasing function. Now my friends, coming to greatest and least values of the function. Yeah. Here I am talking about the greatest and least values of the function in closed interval AB only, because they should concentrate only the greatest and least values in closed interval. They never ask more than that. So suppose, how can we find the greatest and least values of a function in a closed interval? But for that, first, suppose if your function is increasing in closed interval, that means if this is a situation, this is closed interval AB and your function is increasing in this interval, then what happens? This value, this is f of a, and this value, this is f of b, and this value becomes the minimum value and this value becomes the maximum value. See, this happens. So here this is the value, corresponding value is f of a, and this is corresponding value f of b. This value is the minimum value and this value is the maximum value, provided your function is what? Increasing. Suppose if your function is decreasing, what will happen? Opposite. In closed interval AB. Suppose, and this is what? F of a, and this is what? F of b, and f of a becomes maximum and f of b becomes what? Minimum. So whenever a closed interval is given for you, then this is the maximum and minimum, and for closed interval, and if for increasing and decreasing functions, the functional values at extremes becomes the greatest and least values. Suppose if our function is continuous and in closed interval AB, then the greatest value is f of a, f of b, and least value is f of a, provided the function is what? Increasing. So my friends, maxima and minima values are different, and greatest and least values are different. Greatest and least values may be the maxima and minima, but maxima minima values need not be the greatest and least. Here maxima is nothing but greatest, minima is nothing but least, provided your function is defined and is increasing in closed interval AB. Then only in this case that maximum is nothing but greatest, minimum is nothing but least. Similarly, even for a decreasing function also it happens like this. Clear? So these are the particular cases, provided your function is defined in closed interval AB and moreover it is increasing and decreasing. It is here decreasing. In that case only. So what is the difference between maxima, minima and greatest and least? that we will get a complete idea in the maxima minima chapter. Here in this particular topic we are concentrating whether your function is increasing or decreasing, and based on that increasing and decreasing nature, that is monotonic nature, what kind of extreme values it possesses only we are getting and understanding. Okay, my friends. Now coming to, however, if f of x is non-monotonic, what is non-monotonic? Either increasing or decreasing becomes monotonic. Non-monotonic means up to some extent it is increasing or decreasing. After that it is decreasing or increasing. So if f is non-monotonic in closed interval ab and is continuous, then the greatest value and least value of f of x in closed interval ab are those where f dash x is equal to 0 or f dash x does not exist. See my friends, this I told just now, because if your function is continuous and it is increasing or if it is decreasing in closed interval ab, then at end points you may get maxima and minima, and that maxima minima are nothing but the greatest and least, provided your function is what? Monotonic. Suppose if your function is not monotonic but your function is continuous in closed interval ab, say for example this is the situation happening here, suppose this is a and suppose this is b, what is happening here? This is called what? Non-monotonic, because it is up to here it is increasing, then onwards it is decreasing, again increasing, again decreasing, again increasing, like that. This is what? Non-monotonic. So at this point it has a maximum, and at this point it has a minimum, and at this point it has a maximum, and at this point this has a minimum, and at this point it has something minimum, and at this point end point it has maximum. So among all those maxima and minimas, you collect the least number and you collect the greatest number, which that least and greatest number indicates the greatest and least values. That's why maxima is different from greatest, minima is different from least. So English literature and mathematical literature, these are the only difference between the language points. So anyhow, to find the extreme values, suppose if your function is non-monotonic in closed interval ab and is continuous, to find the greatest and least values, if anybody is asking you to find the greatest and least values of the function in a closed interval ab, sure, we can expect a good question in your board examinations or in competitive examinations. Then what to do? Better you find the points where the derivative of the function is equal to 0, and better you find the points where the derivative of the function does not exist. So what points you are finding? You are finding where the derivative of the function equal to 0 or where the derivative of the function not equal to 0, provided your function is continuous in closed interval ab. Then and including the endpoints of the interval, what to do? You just find all functional values. From that you pick the maximum value that gives the greatest value, and you pick the minimum value that gives the least value of the function. That is, they are what? Greatest and least values of the function. See in this example what happens? At a it has maximum, and at c it has minimum, and at d it has maximum, at d it has maximum, at b it has minimum. It has maximum, and it is maximum, and it is minimum, and it is maximum, and it is minimum, and moreover it is a sharp edge, and this is a sharp edge, and this is something. At this particular point your function is not differentiable. So but anyhow, these are the points. What are the points including a and b? How many points are there for me? A, c, d, b. What are these points? A, b are the end points, and c, d are the function is not defined with differentiation. But what I am doing is I am finding all functional values at each and every point, f of a, f of c, f of d, f of b. You find all these functional values and collect from all these points. You take the maximum value, that is called the greatest value, or if from collection you take all of collect all minimum of all these values, then that is you take L, that is the least value. So least value to greatest value becomes the range. This is also another concept. So whenever they are asking you to find for a continuous function defined in a closed interval AB, which is non-monotony, to find the greatest and least values, what to do? Find the points where the derivative is 0 or derivative does not exist, and including the extreme points, you collect all the functional values, and from all them you take the maximum value which gives the greatest value. From all the points functional values, you take the minimum which gives the least. This is the procedure. And moreover, my friends, what is the use of this particular monotonicity? Means already I told what is monotonic. It is increasing or decreasing, something like that. Increasing means dy by dx greater than 0, decreasing is dy by dx less than 0. Strictly or not strict, and that points that in the neighborhood of the point you have to focus more. And the advantage and beauty of this particular monotonicity and the conditions are to prove some of the inequalities. It is very, very useful. Suppose if you want to show whether this inequality holds good or not in the given interval, 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to pi by 2, then ordinary methods doesn't holds good to solve this kind of problem. What I am doing is I am taking this as my function, because I bring that 3x into left hand side and I have considered this as my f of x, and thereby I find its derivative, and after derivative I get this as the value, and in this particular open interval 0 comma pi by 2, that is for all values in the first quadrant, I am observing the sign change of the function f dash x. If it is greater than 0, simply I can say that your function is increasing. So what happens here? F dash x greater than 0 for every x belongs to open interval 0 comma pi by 2. It indicates what? Your function is increasing. So as per the definition of the increasing, because 0 less than x less than pi by 2, what happens? F of 0 is less than f of x less than f of pi by 2. Because if x1 less than x2, f of x1 less than f of x2 is increasing. If x1 less than x2, f of x1 greater than f of x2 is decreasing. So what is f of 0? You find that value, that it becomes 0, which is less than f of x, which is less than f of pi by 2. You just substitute that value. 2 into sin pi by 2 is 1, plus tan pi by 2 is tan pi by 2. You can write that as infinity, and that is minus 3 pi by 2. Okay. So here, based on this particular f of x greater than f of 0, but I am least bothered about this, but my inequality is just sufficient to get from f of x greater than 0 itself. So automatically 2 sin x plus tan x greater than or equal to 3x I can solve. So to establish this kind of small scale inequalities, this is one of the strategy, but this kind of different problems that we will solve in next sessions. Don't worry, first here initially I told I am concentrating what? Theoretical part. So for to establishing the monotonicity, inequalities monotonicity chapter is very useful for you. Now my friends, this is the most important powerful topic in applications of derivatives. Hope you enjoyed this well. Don't worry, 2 or 3 times you practice all the graphs, basic graphs, and observe, try to understand the behavior of the curves. Then you will get complete knowledge. Hope you enjoyed it well. And if you like this video, please share and subscribe, and we will meet in lesson number 3, maxima minima, soon, because with the completion of maxima minima theory part, then you will get complete control on the magic of differentiation and the applications part of the differentiation very well, and that knowledge helps you a lot. Thank you, my friends, and please don't forget to subscribe and share my channel. Thank you.